How is everyone doing today? Today we have a cool a cool new, a couple cool new features for you guys. We just had some music to let everybody join, and yeah, we will see a lot of people joining throughout the coming hour at the next live broadcast of Reform. Today I am here again. My name is Paulus. I handle most of the marketing at Reform, and today we're gonna dive into some interesting topics. But before we do that, let me introduce to you the one and only. You have seen him every time. It is Scorpio.
Hey everyone, there we are again.
Yo, 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 yo.
Reform, ready to kick it off. Happy to be here again to guide you all through the Reform ecosystem once more.
All right. So let's look at some of the achievements that we had in the last few weeks. Of course, we have our testnet live. The third wave went live. We have over 20,000 people that use the unique wallet to claim eReform in our faucet, which they need to use the testnet. We had over 45,000 people that used the bonding in the testnet already. That's just insane. And even more crazy is that over 70,000 people stake their tokens in the testnet. Well, we're just amazed week in, week out by the results of what you guys are doing, and yeah, by the amount of people that are participating in our testnet. And yeah, we're really fine tuning the testnet as we speak. We see a lot of things that happen that go well. We can see a lot of things that need some improvements, and we're fixing that on the spot. So once we go live, Q1 later on, everything will be flawless. And I think even more interesting to say is that all the tasks of the testnet are now live, and they all work. We made an announcement about this earlier, but it's really up to all of you guys to work together, chat with the community, and find out what the 6 tasks are in the testnet. All of them are in there. You can perform everything within the testnet right now, and we have already seen a lot of people that are doing it. So I'm sure within no time, a lot of you guys, yeah, we'll get the hang of it as well. Then just to look into what we are going to discuss today. We'll have a general market update like we always do. And we're going to do something special for the general market update, but I'll get to that later. We will dive into some educational content because we're always here to educate you guys. And we will also explain a little bit why we have been doing all this educational content, because that is due to the Reform Academy that is going to be launching very soon, where you guys can learn everything about Reform, but also about general Web3 stuff, linked to Reform. So the topic of today, we're going to continue talking about the revenue flows that we discussed last week, but this week we're going to really look into the designated market making that we do for dedicated projects. So once we go live and projects come to us, they ask us to be their market maker, because obviously Reform DAO is a market making DAO. And we will dive into that topic today and explain you everything about the market making. And then we'll end it off with another Q&A session. So without further ado, we want to introduce something very cool to you today, which is the Reform General Market Update Studio. Scorpio?
Oh, there's one thing I think to add in between. It's of course, I think an important one. Last week we started with the broadcast, and we just wanted to do something different in the crypto space as a whole. But I think last week it packed out really well, and now we're actually optimizing everything for making it more appealing to people, making it more informative and anything like that. So I think just as a heads up for everyone, that we've been building over the past week, also on the broadcast. And I think, Paul, that's now what you're going to disclose. But I think especially in terms of also next week, it will, every week we will try to make it more engaging, more appealing, and more well arranged, so to say, for everyone in the community. So just for you to an FYI.
Exactly. Well, that's exactly what I wanted to say, because right now what we want to do is we want to move through the Reform News Studio, where we're going to talk about the topics of that was in the news over the last week. So stick with us for a little moment. We just have to walk over there because we can't teleport yet. So we'll see you in just a few seconds. As you guys can see, we arrived at the Reform News Studio. Well, this is one of the gimmicks that we have been working on, and yeah, we think it's amazing. We had a lot of fun building this. And it's just the tip of the iceberg, guys. We're going to improve this a lot over the coming weeks, but we have a lot of fun making this a little bit more interactive, a little bit more cool. But yeah, let's dive into the topics, Scorpio. Have you kept track of the news at all, or are you going to hear it first time from me now?
No, I heard indeed quite some things over the news. Of course, there were a lot of developments in the market in terms of price appreciations, which over the past few months has, of course, been a very, very big topic. But yeah, happy to hear from you and then discuss, whatever is interesting to say about it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, let's start off with something that I've seen a lot over the last 7 days, and that's that ETF trading is through the roof. This morning I read that Van Eck's spot BTC ETF trading volume was up over 1400% yesterday. That just amazes me. Like,
yeah, it's through the roof. Yeah, it's not normal.
Yeah, I hadn't expected that, to be very honest. I thought it would be big, but not this big. Additionally, actually, what I saw a few days ago is that the total amount of BTC required for the demand on spot ETFs in the US alone is 12.5 times higher compared to the amount of Bitcoins that can be mined in the same time. And that means a lot of buying pressure on Bitcoin right now from the ETFs. And I think that's great. I think that's very bullish. Well, what's your opinion on it, Scorpio?
Yeah, I think it's great for the space as a whole, right? As we discussed in the last two, well, then it was still Spaces, now it's a broadcast, but it's a great improvement for the space. I think a lot of people got access to Bitcoin. They bought it, especially institutional money, but also, yeah, of course, private people banking with their banks that are actually providing these buying opportunities in the ETF. So yeah, I think it's great. It's a good it's a good development, and I think just seeing that a lot of attention is still there and a lot of people are actually buying it, and it's up 1400%. Yeah, well, that's just crazy numbers, right? It's amazing. I think for the space.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And I think it's just, if you look at the news over the last 1-2 months, it's just bullish after bullish after bullish. I don't want to dive into a lot of the regulatory stuff that happened that a lot of governments and a lot of regulatory agencies around this world have been diving more into the approval of different things within the crypto space, because that's just ongoing. But something else that I saw, which I think is really interesting, I assume you know who Michael Saylor is, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a big bag holder of Bitcoin as of now.
Exactly. So what I saw is that he exposed when he plans to sell his Bitcoin. What do you think?
Yeah, well, it's I think maybe a strategy. If you say that you're going to sell at one point, but have a big bag of Bitcoin and going to sell at another point is always possible. But I think Michael Saylor is a genuine guy. At least while he has been supporting Bitcoin, has been consistently buying Bitcoin. Even in the bear market, he kept believing. He bought every top actually. But yeah, I think as of now, he's just he and MicroStrategy, the company is up now. They're having a very, very nice profit in their Bitcoin position, and they did that just by one simple rule, which is like the rule of DCA, right? And the rule of dollar cost averaging into your position by consistently buying at specific time frames or specific prices that you determined up front, whatever. But if it works, DCA 9 out of 10 times works, because especially in the market of crypto, and then especially Bitcoin, which has like a decreasing supply, or let's say not decreasing supply, but decreasing inflation, so to say, whereby there's more and more demand, as you can also see with the spot ETF now, offsetting, let's say, the inflation of the mining rewards. Yeah, I think it's just it's just crazy for the price appreciation. And like I said, it's fun that he says it, but yeah, to do also follow your own the things that you said, that's also a second point to it.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because it's actually quite funny. Because he said that he was going to review and he plans on selling his Bitcoin. And what he actually said is that he is never going to sell it, and he's only going to keep buying more. So yeah, I don't think he's going to sell anytime soon.
Oh, that's also quite funny then, because it shows that I'm not aware of him saying it. But it's yeah, I think it's a good point, especially if you see Bitcoin as a store of value, it's a digital gold. Yeah, then indeed, yeah, it's most likely going to be a very, important scarce asset that you want to, yeah, keep, especially in an in inflationary economic system, whereby scarce assets are actually the ones that you want to hold in your portfolio.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it's in line with what he kept saying, right? He really thinks it's going to be the digital gold, and he really thinks it's nowhere to where it's going to be. So it only makes sense that he's going to keep buying it. Yeah, curious to see where he will end up with his big bag. And then in other news, we saw another big milestone for a very large crypto out there. Of course, last week we already spoke about Bitcoin itself hitting 50,000. Yesterday, the Ethereum price went over 3,000 mark again. Have you seen it? I assume you did.
Yeah, I'm 24/7 also behind the chart. So yeah, I saw it indeed. Touching above it nicely. Now actually, yeah, everything is declining. But the thing is that over the past few months, a lot of people have been in disbelief, and that's also why the market has been keep going up. I think also what I personally also look at a lot to actually see if there's a lot of retail attention already is actually the Google Trends, so that you can actually see that there's not a lot of retail actually searching for the word Bitcoin yet. But actually, if you check, of course, the price appreciation of Bitcoin, well, that's now consistently being done then by institutions, or let's say people that have now the possibility to buy the ETF. So I think there's a lot of institutional money flowing in as of now, and not a lot of retail yet. So I think that's an interesting part to it. And yeah, Ethereum going through the 3K. That's just a sign of also the Bitcoin, the people that buying Bitcoin, or the institutions buying Bitcoin, also flowing a little bit towards Ethereum. And I think that will only become bigger and better whenever also the Ethereum ETF will actually be approved, which also most likely will be happening this year somewhere, hopefully actually, because Bitcoin also took a while. But I think now Bitcoin got approved. It's also inevitable that the other altcoins, or let's say first Ethereum. Yeah, exactly. We'll also get in.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I read yesterday as well a different perspective on whether the retail is already in. Is that they looked at the statistics on YouTube accounts that are replying to crypto videos, and what they saw is that 99% of the accounts are still the accounts that have been active over the last 6, 7, 8, 9 years. Some of them were reactivated after a long time of being inactive, because obviously that happens in the bear market, but it's not new accounts. And their conclusion was that because there's so little new accounts that are actively engaging with YouTube videos, there's probably a lot less retail out there as well that is already entering the market. So it's really like that early stage of a bull market that we're seeing, which I need to be careful with everything I say, of course, not financial advice, but it looks like it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, looks good.
And then the last thing for the news of this week is that, and it's something a little bit different. It's not really crypto, but I just wanted to feel your opinion on this. Is that OpenAI revealed Sora, which is their new video generating AI, and I don't know if you have seen it. I've seen it. It's mind blowing.
Yeah, it's the developments in AI have been in general just crazily growing over the past 2 years actually. There's of course been already in development for a very long time, but I just saw actually yesterday a comparison video between how AI was actually making videos like 2 years ago and how it's doing it right now. Man, it's like so much difference, and I think AI is like an exponential accelerating in innovation, so to say. And I think with OpenAI launching this new product, so to say, I think it's crazy, of course, with the AI that they already had with the ChatGPT and everything. It's they're just bringing innovation to the world, and I think that's for everyone just very cool to see. And it also has an influence, of course, in the crypto space. You see a lot of crypto projects launching with an AI narrative or whatsoever. If they really use AI, that's always the question, or if they just use an integration on on the GPT model. That's of course always a question, but yeah, I think there's a lot of possibilities and room right now in the AI space, and I think the announcement of OpenAI will only bolster that.
Yeah. No, fully agree. That's also why I added it here. I think it's just so interesting to see, and I see the combination between AI and crypto Web3 as so strong. So there's so much that can happen still in the future, and it's great to see. Okay.
Yeah, I
I
also
think.
just saw.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. I also just saw a note of someone in the chat, saying like gaming will also be so much better in the coming, in the coming times. And I think, especially with projects also doing like cloud rendering and all those kind of things. Yeah, you can even have like a very not, and not the best device or something like that, and then you can even start gaming or whatsoever on that device because it's all cloud rendered, right? I think those kind of developments, it's crazy. So great input. Gaming, video, photos, chat, everything will actually be improved by this innovation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Fully agree. All right, well, then let's move on to the next part, which is our educational segment, where we will dive into the market making for dedicated projects. But guys, we're right now in the Reform studio. Give us a minute again, because we just have to walk over to the classroom of Reform. Yeah, we'll be right back. All right. We're watching the live stream as well on our side, and we're just a little bit behind on this, so that's just funny to see. I think, there we go. You guys can see the classroom already. That's great. Scorpio, you here as well?
Yes, I'm here, back in the classroom.
Oh man, you're big. Nice. All right, so let's dive in. Just getting the right notes in front of me, guys. Give me 1 second. There we go. All right, so market making for dedicated projects. We spoke about market making a lot over the last few spaces that we did. And you've answered almost every question possible about the subject already. But obviously, there's a little bit of a difference between the market making we have explained in the majority of it around, the high frequency trading, etc., and the market making which we will do for dedicated projects, because we're still a market maker. So can you maybe a little highlight that difference between those two a little bit before we hit it off?
Sorry, the difference between?
Well, we mentioned that we called it market making as well, but it's more like what our engine is doing, the high frequency trading and liquidity provision. That's also market making, right? But in a different way than the market making we do for dedicated projects.
Yeah, so I think, it's a good one. The biggest difference here is actually that we do liquidity provision and high frequency trading on exchanges. So why do we do this? Simply because of the fact that we can get rebates and that we, make such big volumes that actually the exchanges are rewarding us for making this. We're actually never a taker in the order book. We're always making the order book, so providing liquidity for people to buy and sell easily. Also, of course, for the big institutions, this is super important because if they come in with big chunks of money, they also need to be able to buy with those big chunks of money because if there's no liquidity, they're not able to buy. And I think that's always one of the bottlenecks of institutional money. So that's one side, the high frequency trading and liquidity provision, which also, of course, converts to the realized profits. But then I think an enhancer of the DAO treasury, so of actually liquidity flowing into the engine, is a designated market making for projects. And I think the high frequency trade, the bonding treasury sales, so to say, that will flow towards towards the DAO treasury or towards the engine that will be high frequency traded with and provide liquidity on exchanges. That will actually, be nothing in comparison to the designated market making that actually can, bolster the DAO treasury in growth. So I really think the designated market making in projects is mainly focusing on projects that are just launching, that really need liquidity on the market, like constantly. Because it's always difficult if you do not have algorithms. You can put in manual orders yourself all the time, but doing that 24/7 and making sure that it's the right way and that it's balanced and that you have the right inventory, like a lot of aspects come with it, so to say. And if you have that automated and all done in algorithms, I think that's the most important part that you can provide as a service to projects. And that's actually a designated market making for projects, whereby you're helping them with liquidity, having liquidity available in the order books so that people can actually trade their token.
All right, so let's dive a little bit further into this. Maybe we can run through the process. You just explained it a little bit of simpler words, but then as an example, so how we're gonna do a project which is called I don't know, call it CryptoX. CryptoX is coming to us for market making. How would this look like? What are we exactly going to do for them? What can we disclose? What can we tell in a simple way for people to understand what Reform is really doing for projects and why it's so important and so strong?
Yeah, I think, from a Reform point of view, for us, it's really important to be as transparent as possible to these projects, how we're actually going to work with them, what we actually can promise in terms of deliverables. In market making terms, I will not go too much in depth about that, but there's a lot of KPIs or let's say agreements that you can come to, that you can lay up front the projects, that they know, okay, I'm always having sufficient liquidity for people to trade on, and there's like specific agreements that you can make with it. So I think from a Reform perspective, it's super important to guide these projects, especially if they have a very solid product, a solid team, they really want to build. And that's actually, what we as Reform are standing for. We want to do market making for not only the best projects, but also the projects that want to launch in a proper way and also have, let's say, a fair way of operating, and also the intention to really build something that's going to benefit the crypto space as a whole, and need a market maker that's actually going to help them with it. And I think, the market maker that we are, Reform, is not only providing market making, it's also giving them the right introductions, but it's also guiding them through the process of, okay, what do market makers normally ask, and what kind of agreements do we have in comparison to other market makers, for example, just to very transparently structure a deal with them. Since, normally how it's being done, it's really, how do you say it, sales and business development driven. So it's really like, okay, the higher you can get your offer as a market maker and they agree with it, the better, of course, you are. Well, this is, of course, in business terms. So for businesses, this is, of course, a very nice thing for the shareholders, that they can have a very good amount of money in their pocket. But I think from our perspective, with a more of a holistic approach, we actually want to help the project with liquidity. Of course, also have a benefit for the DAO, for the token holders, for everything like that. But in the end, also really here for the project itself. Plus, of course, the community that's going to be bounded to that specific project. So that's one thing, at least. I don't know. Do you what maybe you want to guide it more towards a specific point?
Yeah. If I don't want to cut you in, but you always keep going and you answer 10 of my questions before I can even ask them. But that's great. No, I was just thinking maybe we can really I don't know, from your experience, and I don't want, if you don't want to mention any specific names, that's also fine, of course. But I was just thinking maybe we can mention an example of an existing market maker and what they did.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's good to need to go into names or whatsoever, because we're here, I think, in this all together, especially with Reform. We want to not only be our own market maker, but also partner up with the market makers that actually have the same approach as us. But I think, yeah, you know, it's really how it's being done normally, because it's a company, how it's structured. Whenever they do, yeah, the structure is, it's quite difficult to explain it like properly, but normally how it's being done, like the project is offering a loan to the market maker, then actually the market maker will pay back that loan, of course, but with an option to the upside potential, whereby, you know, if the token goes all the way up and the option, let's say the token goes from 10 cents to $1, and then actually the option to buy back tokens is at 20 cents, and actually the market maker can pay off the token at 20 cents, the amount actually in dollar value, back to the project. And then actually the remainder, so the difference between the 20 and the 80 cents, will actually remain with the market maker. They still need to suffice for the service contract, of course, and maintain the inventory. But at the end of this process, yeah, normally this remainder will actually flow towards the market maker, and they will actually liquidate it to suffice for the operations, but also, of course, like I said, to fill the pockets of the shareholders. And I think in our case, the big difference is that, you know, whenever there's a remainder, the service, the option, the loan agreement has been paid back, and actually there's a remainder after the service contract ends, that will all be added to the DAO treasury. And we're even looking into models where we can actually do some profit share together with the projects, or as well the ecosystems that are bringing in those projects. So there's like an incentive alignment between all the stakeholders, and I think that's what we want to reach. As an extra on top of that, and I think that's really an important point, maybe it's already again screwing up one of your questions, but I'm just going to say it. It's also an extra part to it that, you know, we also want our community to be involved with it. So actually what we want to do, whenever we have our community ready to support this project and they're really convinced that this will be a nice project for Reform to actually do market making for, to suffice for more DAO treasury in the end, then we also, you know, are going to be communicating with the project that we want an X percentage of supply from them that we're going to share with our community. So in that case, yeah, it's really something where the market maker in the end, the market maker, the DAO actually gets better, where the people that are actually supporting the DAO, the token holders, are going to get better because of the new token of the project that we're going to do market making for is going to be distributed to them. The project itself is going to get better because they're going to get some revenue share. And well, if there's a party that introduced that specific project, then they're also going to get an incentive to actually bring more projects afterwards so that we can keep growing on with the DAO treasury. So I think, yeah, this is like all of it together. And I think that, yeah, you know, maybe next week or something we could showcase, or on our socials, showcase that it's more individual so that you have a really good understanding with it, how it actually flows and how it works. But I think,
we have
the core of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, we have the Reform Academy for this. So we're about to showcase that on paper as well, of course. Because indeed it's a bit difficult to understand for a lot of people, and I completely understand why it's so difficult, because there's just so many terms and so many links and so many connections that make it happen. But I think the last thing you pointed out, Go ahead.
Yeah, the key takeaway from it is really like the alignment, the incentive alignment, right, between all the stakeholders. I think that's the most important, that we want to reach some sort of, like I said, we have more of a holistic approach, but I think it's more to get everyone on the same page, right? And not only one or two parties that are behind the scenes making shady deals or whatsoever to get the benefit out of it themselves. No, it's just that everyone comes out of this better in the end. And I think that's a really cool part to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I quickly want to jump into one of the questions that we got from our community, because we did some Q&A with our loyal followers in the Discord from our community, and we asked them if they still have questions about this topic. And one of the questions we got is not necessarily about this topic, but I think it's interesting to dive into, because you just mentioned this, where the community is one of the stakeholders as well. And they asked, Are we anticipating any partnerships with 3 projects, perhaps NFT projects or projects which are doing an IDO? And can slots be given to the community? Well, whether we will have partnerships and we will get free NFTs or IDO access, all of that is obviously something we have to see in the future. We won't say no, we won't say yes, but what we will say, and that's what you just explained, is that whenever we do market making for designated projects, we will indeed see how we can leverage our community to support that project. And in return, the project will give us tokens to airdrop to our community specifically, right? That's one of the things you just mentioned in your story. Yeah. And I think
exactly,
that's
and that's
something.
again.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, and that's then again. And that's then again coming back to the incentive alignment for the people that are actually involved with the DAO, right? So you're here, you're a token holder, you're a believer of reform, and then you're actually leveraging, your own time / money, whatever, to the project that we're going to do market making for, because we all together actually came to an agreement that we're going to do the market making for this specific project. Especially, from a core contributor point of view, I think it's really important that we're going to have, and a contributor point of view, that we're really going to vet out the right projects, and then actually, communicate that with the community very well. And that there's always like an incentive for the community to be involved within the reform and have the token, because then they can not only get staking rewards for reform and voting power within the ecosystem, and indirect, of course, realize price appreciation because of the buybacks, but also extra tokens that they can enjoy from the project that we're doing the market making for.
100%. Okay, so another thing that you mentioned is, because you indeed answered most of my questions, so I'm just going to recap quickly and hopefully say it in some easier terms, because that's what I'm good at, I guess. But you mentioned that, the question was what happens with all the tokens that are left after a contract expire or any profits are made during the market making. Well, you explained that after a certain service contract, there's tokens left, which you can buy back from the loan structure you explained. But I think that's something which is very important to highlight as well, because what reform is going to do is buy back those tokens from the loan in case of a contract that is with a loan. But we're not going to sell these or dump them on the community, or just slowly sell them to the community. But instead, we're going to continuously keep using these in our DAO treasury, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's again an extra incentive for as well the project, I guess, because after the service contract ends, it's not actually that the market making sort of is going to end, because we're still going to do the high frequency trading and liquidity provision for it. But it's of course different than the market making, because there it's being made, the realized profits and the differences go actually to the buybacking of the token. But it's still sufficing liquidity in the order book, not with the same algorithms. It's a different algorithm, but still the order books are going to look thicker because of the fact that we are still there. It's not that we're going to leave the project behind, unless the project is really, it could even be during the service contract, it could also be after. But if a project really showcases that it's actually not worthy of our community, our time, our dedication, our algorithms, the things that we want to put into the market, then we just think like, okay, then we should end the partnership, and then we should not do market making for them anymore. But this will all be communicated properly, discussed, and everything like that with our community, because we do not want to make decisions based on pure speculation or whatsoever. It needs to be backed by facts, right?
Yeah, and again, very transparent. As you mentioned, we'll tell that to community, to the people we work with, to everyone basically, if we make these decisions, and they should be backed by facts. So that's, I think, again, showing how strong Reform is as a company and as a community, and how the transparency is really becoming the norm, and that's just so important. Let's see, because you answered this as well. Well, I think one of the things that I just wanted to highlight is, I have one other question, which is something that I'm going to ask you at the end, but I just want to highlight one more thing, and that's that we have now discussed last week how, the token sales that go to the bonding treasury, those funds will go to our DAO treasury. The engine uses one of its algorithms to do high frequency trading with the funds from the DAO treasury, and that drives a realized profit, which we use to run our operations and to do a lot of buybacks of the Reform token, obviously buying back from the public exchanges, and in that way, again, supporting, making the token stronger. One of the things that we discussed today, and we're going to discuss it again next week, is the other algorithms that the engine has, and also the other money flows that are within Reform DAO. And we discussed the market making for dedicated projects, and all the profits that we make or all the tokens that we get at the end of a contract, they go back into the DAO treasury. So they're not realized profits yet. We're just using those to create more realized profits. And we will upload an image of this at the end of probably somewhere next week when we discuss all the different revenue streams there, or the money flows. But I think it's important to keep highlighting this to everyone to understand that there is continuous flows of money from the bonding treasury, from tokens that get sold there, from everything that's made with the designated market making for projects, which you already highlighted is going to be, has the potential to be huge compared to the bonding treasury. And all those funds purely go to the DAO treasury. And then the next beautiful step is that the money will never be taken out of the DAO treasury. So the DAO treasury is only growing. And then the high frequency trading we do with the money in the DAO treasury, that drives the profit. And that's the profit that we do take out. But that means that the DAO treasury will never go below the amount of what we put into it. And I think that's so important to keep highlighting, because that's just such a strong mechanic to make sure that we're ready also for the long term, and that it's such a strong project, because it's basically everlasting in that way. So I just wanted to highlight that. And then there's one more question before we go to the Q&A section of today's broadcast. And that's, is there a limit to the amount of projects that Reform can do market making for?
To be fair, there's no limit. But like I said before, we really want to do market making for top-notch projects. Of course, we also need to, first get into the real process of doing it for a few projects. And I think our own project launch with the Reform token will actually be a tribute to that. So that will be like the establishment of the designated market making, right? And if that all goes well, which I'm 100% confident of, then we're also able to provide that service to other projects. And I think in terms of amounts, I would not say there's a cap. But we discussed it, and like I said, we want to do it very sort of exclusive, good projects that really want to build the right founders, people that have the right intentions. So let's say in the first year, we're aiming for, let's say, 2 projects a month that we're going to do the market making for. Up most, I think 3. So that's actually how you can see it. We're not going to spray and pray. We're just going to, focus at the ones that we think are the most valuable.
Perfect. Well, that's great to know, because I think that's a very important thing to also mention to the community, so they understand the value of what we put behind it, but also the size to which this can grow. All right. Well, again, thanks so much for explaining everything. I think it's always great to hear you talk about all of this. So let's go to the general Q&A questions that we got from our community. Guys, we're just gonna go back to our initial setup, so just hold on for a minute with us again. We'll show you the nice cool video and show you we're simply the best, and we'll be right back. Here we are again. So you guys, you have seen our classroom, you have seen our new studio, and that's just the beginning, right? We started it this week. We worked on this quite hard to we design almost everything in house ourselves, and this is just the start. Now that we get the hang of this, next week is gonna be even more fun. So make sure you're there next week as well, because we're gonna have a lot of fun with the stream. But yeah, let's dive into some of the questions that we got from our community. Scorpio, I'm just going to read you the questions out loud. If it's something that we can't answer, we don't want to answer, we will answer at a later stage. It's also fine to say, I just grabbed all the questions, and let's see where we end up. So one of the questions that I've seen actually multiple times is if we can tell more about the details of the airdrops, and then specifically towards when they will be received. Is there an unlock vesting, all that stuff? What can we tell about it, Scorpio?
The most important part for the airdrop is that you're going to, of course, accomplish all the different parts that are going to be available. So yeah, for now we have one or two, I think, available of the overall airdrop. So there's gonna be three big, events, of which one is of course the testnet. All of them will be disclosed. I don't know if more are actually disclosed, since I'm really into the more of the internal processes and, let's say, the algorithms in general. But I think Paul can actually elaborate more on that. But in terms of vesting or locking or whatsoever, I think most important thing for people to actually keep in the back of their heads is that they've been helping us with testnet testing. They've been helping us with the growth of the social, spreading the word. So I think that's just a very big. We just want to give a very big token of appreciation, and that's not only with, let's say, normal tokens. It's also going to be through another way. And I think that's going to be something very innovative and something very new, which has never been done before. And I think that's really going to be the nitty-gritty of it. So that said, I think those are the most important key points for everyone to keep in the back of their heads.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, so will announce more along the way, and indeed, I think I can add one more thing, and that's that the third airdrop opportunity for everyone. People can get an airdrop by becoming a Discord Diamond member in our community. They can get an airdrop by completing all the tasks within our testnet, and the third airdrop, which I will give an announcement or a sneak peek for now, because we're going to announce it only soon, is going to be linked to our Reform Academy. And it really comes down to we want all of you guys to go through all of the cool and interactive content that we have and learn really about what is Reform, what is marketing, how does it all work. And we just want to reward you for educating yourself, because we think education is a big part of growing the Web3 space. So that's coming very soon. Not a specific date on when the third airdrop will be live, but we'll tell you soon enough. And then, I think that's everything for this question. Yeah, we answered everything. So the next one, what will the price of Reform be on the listing? And what central exchanges are you guys planning to use?
So of course, centralized exchanges can still not disclose anything because that's all under NDAs, and it's all legal and blah blah blah. So that's very important for us to maintain as a sort of secrecy, because if we are going to give it away, then the exchanges are not going to list us anymore. So that's probably not the best idea, I think, for all of us. And the other one is actually the price of Reform. So the public price that we're going to launch at is going to be 10 cents, $10 cents. And from there, of course, we're aiming towards a very successful launch. So with that, we're expecting growth in the price in the first month for sure. And after that, the algorithms also need to kick in with the realized profits, with the buybacks, that we're just going to aim for a lot of realized profits being made to make sure that we can suffice for price appreciation, so to say. So we also think that that's actually the best marketing that you can do. There's a lot of cool stuff like this broadcast, which I enjoy really a lot myself, to explain all about it. The educational platform, of course, for people to really get the hang of, okay, what is market making, what is Reform, and anything like that. But the best marketing in the end is always a green candle. And if you can, make sure that there's going to be green candles, then everyone is going to be happy. And I think, that's just something to keep in mind.
100%, 100%. Yeah, that's definitely true. All right. So another question was, what is the benefit of the OG role in the Discord besides the airdrop? Well, I can take this one. We have not disclosed what the OG role is for within our Discord. We've only said it's something you want, and only when you reach the diamond level, you get access to a channel where it's explained what OG will provide. So for now, we can just only recommend for everyone that is closing in on the OG roles to keep going. It's definitely worth your time. It's a big reward, we believe, and it's something that you will be grateful for sure. We definitely appreciate you putting in all the effort, and we definitely want to reward you for your time. The one thing I can say is, after our token is live, the OG role will not be accessible for anyone anymore, at least for now, which means that you have until the token generation event to get your OG role. All the other roles will, however, remain, and people can also still get the other roles in the future. And one of the little sneaks that we potentially can get is that these roles might be linked towards the airdrops from the projects that we will do designated market making for, which will be for our community only. And how much you will get of that airdrop might depend on your role, etc. So that's just a little sneak. Nothing is fixed, but it's important to make sure you have a high role, because after we go live, it's not over. There's so much more for everyone in the community to come, and we want to make sure you guys grow with us all the way. So yeah, just keep grinding, keep with us, have fun, enjoy your time, and you will definitely be rewarded for it. And what I can see in the community is that a lot of people have fun as well. So I think that's not too difficult. Next question: how to join the IDO?
So as of now, we have different Launchpad partners where we're going to launch the Reform token with. We're still in talks also with others, so it's always a good thing to try to optimize your strategy and to get the best available partners on board. So I think having an entrance with these parties at the moment of launch will be super important. And I think, for us to have the token available at launch at different exchanges and at different places, so as like Uniswap, but also our bonding treasury, of course. There you can even buy with a discount on market price. So, there are multiple ways on how you can actually get to the token. But in terms of IDO, that's mainly going to be through our Launchpad and exchange partners, where we're going to do, initial DEX offerings or initial exchange offerings.
All right, that's a clear answer, I guess. Then I got another question, which we have answered already twice, but who is backing the project and how is the fundraising going?
So as of now, we have a variety of people and entities that are actually backing Reform. We actually raised 50% of what we wanted to raise in terms of liquidity, while actually, let's say 20% of that. So 20% of everything has already been invested. That's already trading in the trading engine that can be seen in the dashboard. The rest, let's say, of the 50%, so another 30% is actually coming into the next 2 weeks. And we're in talks with some, very solid VCs and backers that can actually help us with growth. Also with some marketing agencies and whatsoever, to make sure that we can really, have that boost of growth, so to say, and have that boost of credibility. Whereby we're also going to launch different campaigns with the advisors that we have onboarded, or the partners that we have with the VCs. The KOLs that are going to boost this, and that we're just going to make sure that Reform is going to be everywhere within the crypto space. So you cannot avoid us. We will just be everywhere. That's actually the goal, and keep that in mind.
Amazing. All right. Next up, and this is a long one, so I'm just gonna read it out loud, and then let's see what we answer from it. So, who has created the market making algorithms and made sure that they are working as intended? Are there any safety fuses in case a very high market volatility where algorithms possibly could not function properly?
Well, to be fair, our algorithms perform best in high volatility, while the market is actually going sideways. So if there's a lot, as of today, actually, Bitcoin drops, Ethereum drops, it drops substantially, then actually it goes up again to the same level. That's when our algorithms, perform top notch. So we prefer to have a lot of volatility for the high frequency trading and liquidity provision. Of course, whenever you go up, you have impermanent loss, or whenever you go down, you just keep buying that specific asset. But in the end, all the differences in between the buy, sell, buys cycles, that actually suffices for the realized profits. So if something starts at $1, it goes to 110, then to 90 cents, and then back to $1. Then normally you would still have, if you started with 10 tokens, you would still have 10 tokens with the same value. Well, in our case, we would have generated more tokens at the same price, but we would instead of 10 tokens, we would end up with 15 tokens, for example. Those 5 tokens are then our realized profits, and that's all due to the volatility and the volume that's actually being generated within the market. So I think that's, for us, no problem. We like volatility. The more, the better, so to say.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that it was a very good question. I forgot to write down who asked what question, but I can see it's still in the Discord. And shout out to you. I think this is an important one to understand. The next one, will there only be?
It's quite technical. Yeah, it's a quite technical question, and I just think that's already showcases that more people are actually joining the community that actually have substantial knowledge, maybe even about market making, but could also be about trading or about markets or about financial systems, whatever. And I think that's also what we're aiming for: gathering the right people at the right place, everyone in their own role and in their own specialty. But I think especially those kind of people, let us know that you're here. Show us your questions, and we can even see if there's potential for becoming contributors or whatsoever. And I think that really depicts Reform as a market making and investment DAO, whereby we actually want to bolster not only the core contributors and the contributors, but we also want to have the community to be able to grow towards those roles to actually really contribute to and actually also get well compensated for the work that they deliver. So keep grinding for that, and make sure that those questions will keep on going.
Nice. Yeah, fully agree. The next question was, will there only be 3 seasons for the current airdrop campaign? And I guess I will answer that with seasons. I think the person who asked this means to ask, are there only 3 airdrops for Reform right now? And that's correct. I've mentioned it just before, but I just want to highlight it again. There's an airdrop for our Diamond members in the Discord. There's an airdrop for everyone that finishes the testnet. And there's an airdrop which is coming very soon, which is going to be linked to the Reform Academy. To move on, how long the vesting token held by investors? I think I have to rephrase the question a little bit, but I think it's clear enough for you to give an answer.
Sorry?
So he wrote down, or she, how long the vesting token held by investors. So probably they want to ask how long investors need to hold their tokens before they can sell when they invest, things like this, like probably referring to the bonding, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. So the early investors, they all need to choose between 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 years. So that's all going to be, after everything from the airdrop has been distributed to the people. So I think this is mainly let's say investors that are going for a lower price, but for a longer vesting period and actually believe in the longer period of time. Of course, also community will also be able to buy, at one point whenever the bonding is live and the token is live for discounts. But I think as of now, investors that you're now referring to, those are all going to be unlocked after what they choose. So 1, 2, 3, or 5 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. We're even going to create through our let's say another contributor. We're even going to create dashboarding for this so that you can actually see when the amounts are going to get freed and how long everything is locked in which period of time. So that's quite cool and quite transparent, I guess, so that everyone can see when the tokens are going to be freed.
Yeah, absolutely. I had 2, 3 more questions, but actually I'm on my phone in the live broadcast as well, and I saw I'm just going through this chat a little bit, and I saw some questions there. Just recently one, and I think this is an interesting one to ask, because I think it's something that's really important for people to understand, and it's a question from Crypto Omega. The person asked, is your project robust enough to go through multiple bear markets?
Yeah, so I think that's really an important point. Now we're actually going into more of a positive market, so to say. So there, the algorithms that we're currently running, plus the market making algorithms, are going to be really well, working really well. I think the model that we're using with the loan agreements for the designated market making is also going to work really well in this market. Whenever the bear market kicks in, we need to also revise the structure that we can offer the project, whereby maybe retainer models are going to be more let's say effective. And then actually also after that, going to integrate other algorithms that can actually create, let's say, performance when the market is going down, which I'm referring now as delta neutral strategies, for example. So people that have a trading background know what this is. But it's really, I think maybe also for next week, but this is more like, making use of the inefficiencies within the crypto market, whereby you're not even taking some sort of position. If it goes up or down, does not matter, as long as it goes, as long as there's volatility, for example. So, those kind of things are things that, are in the progress, they're being worked on. And I think that's something that's really important for the community to actually keep in the back of their heads. Of course, the coming 2 years is going to be, I think, very good for everyone in the crypto space. But after that, you also need to have a plan, and that's not only for us, for Reform DAO and all of us together, but also for, of course, the people that are invested within the crypto space. Have your plans ready to even allocate to stablecoins or whatsoever to make sure that you're protected and that you preserve your capital.
Yeah, absolutely. So to simply say, whether it's a bear market or a bull market, Reform will definitely continue to work and is definitely capable of surviving those moments.
Yes, exactly.
And it's definitely, every time you explain something, I'm like, oh wow, we need to add this to the academy because this is so much and so difficult but so important. So it's definitely something we have to add to the academy as well along the way. But yeah, we'll definitely do that. Scorpio, I think we're at the end of today's broadcast. We're here for over an hour right now, so yeah, I think it was a nice one again. I want to thank you so much for being here, and yeah, I hope to see you next week again.
Yeah, it was good fun. I think a very nice session with some new activities and new sightseeing of people, a whole new experience. And I think let's do this again next week, and then hopefully with some other engaging topics, so that we can actually make it even more cool for the people.
Absolutely. All right, perfect, man. Thank you so much. And guys, everyone that was here today listening, thank you guys so much for being here. We do this for you guys, and I hope you guys learned a lot and had a lot of fun with the broadcast, just as we did. We had a lot of fun, so that was great again. We'll quickly play the video for you once more, showing that Reform is simply the best, and then we see you guys next week. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, thank you, everybody. See you.